How's your morning been going? Been going well? Yeah, good. Nice talking to you. Listen, there's a bit of a change in policy for the office here, yeah. I kind of made this now a mask optional. You know, we're far enough along. It's a hot day. You know, I'm hanging out in the office, so yeah, it's mask optional. Oh, but there's a caveat here, though. When you come in, you have to wear a mask. Yeah, you. Well, have you looked in the mirror lately? Okay, it's just a joke. All right, see ya. Some people's sense of humor is really taking a hit, you know, during this COVID thing. But we're doing the mask optional thing. We're here in beautiful St. Paul Street in downtown St. Catharines for season 2, episode 34 of Niagara 411 Live with Sterry. That would be me. We are fueled by Gales gas bars as per usual. We are streamed and produced, executively produced, if you will, and co-hosted. A lot of different jobs here for WeeStreem Niagara. We are also supported by our ever-present and always loyal sponsors, Performance Heating and Air, Enwick, Niagara's high-speed internet provider, as well as the Verge Insurance Group, and we thank them all for helping us do this lovely show from Fiddler's Poorhouse at 149 St. Paul Street, St. Catharines. So we thank the Fiddler's Poorhouse folk, and man, we've got like the 8th or 9th heat warning afternoon, so we're going to get inside, all right? By the way, just so that you know a little bit about what's coming up on the program, right when we kick this thing off, it looks like one of Niagara's great murder mysteries might finally have been solved. And we're going to fill you in on that right after the break. So come on back and we'll get this shindig underway, all right? Thanks for coming in. You know, I have run into a few people over the last week or so that I don't think possess any sweat glands. I don't know how you go through 8 or 9 days of heat warnings like this. Not that I'm complaining, because it could be snowing, so, you know, given this or that, I'll take this. But it really is, I really envy people that don't, how we say, reflect the humidity as much as I do. Man, it is one warm day. Now, we are sitting here in our open air window, hoping that a breeze kicks up here at Fiddler's Poorhouse. The staff isn't too happy with us because they'd rather have the air conditioning blowing full steam. So we appreciate Melanie and everybody that's putting up with us here, because we like to have the sounds and the views of the local flora and fauna. And we're going to talk more about what's coming up on the program and how the week was, etc. But you will see right now on the right side of your screen that an arrest has been made in that double homicide in Fort Erie that we have been talking about for quite some time. And just, I don't know what the word is. We're disgusted, disappointed, heartbroken, disillusioned, cynical. I don't know. Pick an adjective, and it's come up about this case. 2 young women, 20-year-old Juliana Panunzio and 18-year-old, and I'm sorry, Kevin, if you could just scroll that up. I lost this young lady's name. I should know it by now. Christine Crooks, of course. Juliana and Christine, both fatally shot at a residence in the town of Fort Erie way back in January 19th, 2021. It was a party gone bad and shouldn't have even been happening because of the whole COVID thing. But nevertheless, here's the deal. With the assistance of the Toronto Police Service 55 Division Major Crimes Unit, 22-year-old Christopher Lucas, also known as, now get this, El Plaga of Scarborough, has been charged with the following. And before we read that, just to let you know, El Plaga means the plague. So this guy has a rep. Probably a pretty well-deserved one on the street. Charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, contrary to section whatever of the criminal code. The accused remains in custody, I hope so, and will appear for a video bail court appearance here in St. Catharines at Robert Welch Courthouse, and that is today. All right? So that's how current this news is. Niagara Regional Police Service would like to thank the Panunzio and Crooks families for their patience and understanding during this lengthy investigation. Police would also like to thank the members of the public, you, for your cooperation and assistance. In addition to the public, the following police services assisted with the investigation, and their support's appreciated in just about every police service in southern, southwestern, and southeastern Ontario have been involved with trying to track down the perpetrators of this heinous crime, the death of these 2 girls, and to put a pretty fine point on it, charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Now, in my definition of first-degree murder, that implies, well, more than implies, actually, that indicates intent. In other words, there was a purpose. There was a plan. It wasn't just some argument gone awry. It seemed like there must have been a plan, a reason, a predetermined reason why this El Plague dude, the plague, shot these 2 girls and killed them. There will be a lot more to this story. It'll be continually painful for the families, and for that we certainly empathize and sympathize with you. Excuse the paper towel. Hopefully none of it sticks to my face, but it's a little bit toasty, as you might guess in the window. But anyway, to the families of Juliana and Christina, A, it's fabulous that it looks like we've got the person that did it, but B, we're a long way from being through the ins and outs and the details of this story and the wrap up. It's going to be quite a ride, and to the families, I hope you have the strength and the fortitude to do that. So our as they say, thoughts and prayers are with you. I know that's kind of a lame thing to say because we're here and you're there, but it's really good to be able to announce on this program, and it just came out just short of airtime today, that this had happened, and that bail court appearance happening today. I don't know whether it has happened yet or whether they're still in line. I mean, at a courthouse, you line up like crazy, and it's a cattle call of people when it comes to bail hearings and appearances and things like that. So you never know where in the day that's going to happen. But anyway, that's the deal. Kevin, I can't imagine what the next number of months or even years will look like with regard to this case.
Yeah, it will probably take, like you said, about that long. I'm happy that that arrest was made. It seemed that the NRP were probably, seemed that they were a little stumped. Like, listen, people, you know, they put out release after release saying we've identified the people in the photo. Here's a $100,000 reward, almost saying, listen, people, tell us who did it.
Somebody has to know something.
Yeah.
There were a couple hundred people or more at this party back in January, but this guy is a player of some sort. When you don't wander around with a nickname like El Plague and not have a reputation, not have a playbook, not have people that know who you are and what sort of deal you're running, and how did these girls get in the way of that? How were they involved with him or not? How did he think? It's just, there's a lot, I believe, to be determined here, and certainly not to blame the victims, but he obviously, wouldn't you say he obviously knew these girls? If it's a first degree murder charge?
That's what surprised me, was the first degree. I thought it was probably a party gone wrong.
That's what we thought. It was sort of a well after New Year's sort of gathering, and it was COVID, and You know, people were trying to find a place to party where they wouldn't get in trouble and all that stuff.
Unfortunately, Lee, here in Niagara, we're dealing with more than one murder case, and there was an update since last week's program on justice for Deidre.
Yes, a really interesting one. We interviewed the family 2 weeks in a row, the family of Deidre Ann Smith. And last Thursday was supposed to be the final Thursday of demonstrations and protestations outside the St. Catharines courthouse, because we were expecting the verdict on the third accused person in Deidre Ann's death to come down. As far as the sentencing was concerned, we were expecting it to come down on the Friday, a week from tomorrow, a week ago tomorrow. Well, we were surprised when the judge came in and deferred the sentencing decision until the 20th of September. So this put kind of a different spin on it for us, Kevin, because we were talking to the family and you and I were chatting about whether any of these protestations or demonstrations would have any impact or could have any impact on the decision, because we're thinking, well, hey, this is Thursday. Tomorrow it's going to be sentencing. The judge has got to it's already got to be written. It's already got to be done. And then the announcement is the fact that they're deferring that decision for another month. Okay, well, hold the phone. We got a whole different sack of hammers here. Now, Kevin, I guess we can only pass along conjecture that month is intended to be used for further reflection on the evidence at large, that and that it may somehow alter the sentencing decision from light to medium or light to super light, which the other two received, to something more serious and more impactful with this third person being sentenced.
And Lee, the protests are ongoing, the weekly Thursday protests, so ongoing right now. You know,
they're there right now.
Sisters, her daughters, they're there. If you pass by, you know, at least you could do is honk for support. I mean, it's just clearly unjust. Lee, I want to just tee you up for a couple of things.
Sure.
Let us know what's coming up on the program, and also let people know how easy it is to get on the show, because we already have Steve in our green room who wants to get on the show to talk about, well, we'll find out in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, we have Giles Rhys-Jones coming up on the program. Very aristocratic name, as you can guess. It's a UK-based name. Now, Giles Rhys-Jones is the CMO, in other words, head dog of an app that you may not have heard of. And I just discovered this week myself. What 3 words? And without putting too fine a point on it right now, it is an app which entitles someone to pinpoint their location right down to a very, very narrow parameter based on 3 words. I have no idea how it works. I couldn't even guess, so that's why I was reading it and I still don't get it. So I'm going to really look forward to talking to Giles at 12:45 today. If you've heard of it and don't know what it is, make sure you're here, because this is the future of location, meaning everything. Also coming up at 1:15, Laydee Lyrix, a St. Catharines hip-hop pop slash rapper lady entertainer. She's involved in a pretty cool competition right now. Quite an accomplished entertainer from the Garden City. And she is also one of our Indigenous peoples here in Niagara. So she's got a lot of things to talk about with us today when she comes in at 1:15. And we're going to be playing one of her songs to play us off the stage today. There's Laydee Lyrix. She will be joining us at 1:15. And we'll play her song Used To play us off the stage today. And without further ado, as the old cliche goes, we do have a gentleman in our, well, he's not in our green room anymore. He's right here on the air. Steve, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, Lee?
Great. So give us your full name again and tell us what you do and why you're here.
Awesome. So my name is Steve Daynard. I am a local mortgage broker, and I've had the pleasure earlier this year with partnering with Sherry Hawkins of Mainly Niagara. She has built a platform which focuses on small businesses and entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And as a local entrepreneur myself, we started a program called Hometown Hero.
Right.
And what we do, Lee, is we reach out to the community and we ask for nominations for people that are making a difference in our community. And what we do is we have a draw every month where we have partnered with some great local businesses, for example, like Zappy's, DJs, Jeffros, and Crazy Macaws, all in Niagara Falls. They've been awesome in donating some amazing prizes for our recipients. And it's been a really awesome experience because we want to reach out and recognize people for the contribution they're making to the community at large. And sometimes it can be somebody, our first recipient, which was fantastic, was an amazing gentleman named Fred, who's a crossing guard in Niagara Falls and just has a wonderful, wonderful personality and greets people and is a really great ambassador for what Niagara stands about. So we're looking to reach out and raise a little more awareness and hopefully appeal to your audience to see if we can get some more nominations for the program so we can recognize people for what they do.
That's great. And, you know, with a group like yours that you're involved with, it really is a fine example of the people that are involved in a downtown or an organization or a community, or pick a group, whether it's a charity or whether it's business, whatever it is. Instead of waiting for somebody to do it for them, you know, say, hey, if not us, who? Right? It's like one of those. If we don't do it, who will? So first of all, kudos to your group for doing that. And how can we nominate? How can we help people? What kind of criteria should we be thinking about when we're nominating people to come forward?
So you know what, Lee? It can really be anyone. I mean, it can be somebody who you see every morning at Tim Hortons when you get your coffee and bagel, who just really makes an effort at making you feel welcome and engaged and always has a smile on their face, providing great service. As we know, the last 18 months and change have been very, life-changing for many people.
Yeah.
And, and you're right, Lee, you miss, a lot of people who are doing awesome service to Niagara are missing an opportunity of recognition because maybe they're not part of a larger platform, or maybe they don't have a large profile or what have you. We want to try and cut through all of that and really get to the grassroots and just say thank you to people who are making a difference for everyone every day. We've had some other great recipients as well, some EMTs who were fantastic earlier this year in providing, support during COVID, inoculation protocols. I mean, it really can range from one end of the spectrum to the other, and there really is no criteria. We just want to know the story, and we want to know why that person is making a difference, and then we do a random draw. So, it's kind of literally a luck of the draw. And there has been some amazing stories that have come forward, and it really warms your heart to know there are so many giving people in Niagara that are so worthy of some level of recognition. So we do have a landing page where people can just go and nominate people, a little bit of the backstory, hit submit, and we'll do a live draw, and hopefully, their name is drawn. Now, I have to also admit too that, we'd like to keep the database, open, so it's not like a prior nomination will go to the wayside. There's still an opportunity for your nomination to be, recognized in perpetuity moving forward. So what we'll do is we'll reach out to Kevin and we'll share the link with the nomination form with him. And we'd love for your audience to just fire names at us. We want to really recognize people and hear their stories.
That's great. And so once nominated, always nominated then.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
All right, Steve, can I ask you one more question before we?
Sure, absolutely.
Before we let you go, Kevin's just showing the form on the screen right now.
Okay.
Why are you doing this? You got a full-time job. Chances are you've got a personal life that you try to spend some time on. Why are you doing this?
Great question, Lee. So, I mean, as a local entrepreneur, a small business owner myself, I think, and we've been very blessed. I mean, we've had, we have a wonderful life. We do really well in what we do. And I think beyond the kind of the business approach, I think that it's wonderful for business owners to be able to reach out and also support local community. I myself have been involved with a number of not-for-profits. I'm on the executive for Rotary at Niagara on the Lake. And I really feel that as a business owner and a member of our community, that we have an opportunity to be able to give back and make differences in other people's lives beyond the dollars and cents. So this is about giving back to the community and just recognizing people again for the great work they're doing.
Well, volunteerism is really the grassroots lifeblood of any community. So thank you and your group that are behind this for stepping out and trying to do something positive, because we need these things today. We need them more now probably than ever. So thanks for clicking in today. Thanks for telling us about Hometown Heroes. And as you mentioned that you'd forward the information to Kevin, we'll try to update people on an ongoing basis as to how this thing is going, okay?
Well, we really appreciate your time and your support, Lee, and kudos to Kevin and yourself for the job you're doing. This is fantastic, and thank you again so much for your time and your appreciation.
Our pleasure. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Steve.
Take care. Bye now.
Well, there's a fine example, ladies and gentlemen, right there, of how easy it is to come in and talk about anything that's going on in Niagara that's important to you. All you have to do is, as you can see at the bottom of the screen there, is click the Zoom link in the post that you're watching this live stream on, and it'll kick you into the green room. All you need is an audio feed turned on and a camera turned on, and poof, Kevin will prep you and get you all shiny and new and ready to go and talk to us on the show. So anything at all. So we have Giles Reese-Jones coming on at 12:45. We have Laydee Lyrix coming on at 1:15. And other than that, it's a free and open exchange of information and questions and concerns and conversation. So
yeah, they like to say. I mean,
here we are.
You'll talk to anyone. And absolutely, if you want to come on the program, we'll talk to you. Just before we let this go, the landing page he talked about, I'll try and leave the link in the comments.
Sure.
But easily, it's themortgageguy.niagara.com, and then you can navigate from there.
Yeah.
But the main page, themortgageguy.niagara.com.
Terrific. And again, thank you, Steve, and mainly Niagara and everybody that's involved with this initiative. Positive stuff we need a lot more of. God knows. Now, we were talking a little bit earlier about the fellow that was arrested with regard to the deaths of those two young women in Fort Erie at that house party, or gathering, whatever you want to call it, back in January. There are some other people that deserve to be recognized from the past week. Steve Nakouzi, as an athlete, that is him right there. And he is a junior Pan Am Games athlete. Police found his body in Lake Ontario, off Sunset Beach. He was vacationing, celebrating, spending time, taking a weekend off, whatever, with his friends over the past weekend, Sunset Beach in St. Catharines. And somewhere, how far out, Kevin? Was it about a kilometer? They were in a boat.
I think they were saying, I'm trying to get the post back up from the original post of when it happened on the weekend. Yeah. The body was discovered about half a kilometer off the shore.
Yeah,
and I think that's about the distance that they were from Sunset Beach.
And a half a kilometer doesn't sound like much until you're in a lake, like Lake Ontario. It does have current. It does have waves. And it's not like swimming half a kilometer in a pool is a lot, let alone in situations like that. So we're not sure yet why this young man went out of the boat and into the water. Maybe he just went in for a quick dip, which is not unusual for people that are out on boats. But if you're not familiar with a body of water like Lake Ontario, obviously it can lead to tragic consequences. So our thoughts, our sympathies to the family of Steve Nakouzi. Young man with a great future, Pan Am Games athlete.
I know, just
Yeah.
and Lee, there was along in the same vein and almost around the same time, Great Wolf Lodge had people jumping in to save a life.
Yeah, and luckily they were successful in saving that life. It was a young person. It was a child. I don't know how old was it? 9, 10?
I don't think they said. Maybe they did, Lee.
I can't recall.
We can go into some of the comments here. And, of course, you know, with something like this, people ask sometimes why some of the comments are turned off, and you would have to ask Nick specifically. But with sensitive situations like that, comments are just turned off
Yeah.
for the well-being of everyone.
Well, yeah, and especially the family, because, again, details are unclear, and oftentimes the comments on social media don't help a lot. But that one is important.
That's all we had
This
here.
this one comes from Nick. Lifeguards doing an amazing job. Patient is now conscious and breathing. Young child. Emergency services continuing. Well, that's a positive outcome to what could have been a tragedy, and I can imagine what some of the comments would have been, or some of the questions might have been. This is a family getaway, a family resort. It centers around water sports and pools and water park type activities, etc. And I guess the big question is, how does that happen? Well, we don't know, but no reflection and no aspersions cast on the resort itself at this point in time for anything other than just one of those accidental things. And we're so pleased that the child was safely revived, and everybody's.
I mean, isn't this exactly how it's supposed to work? Is that there's
that's why you have lifeguards.
Yeah, that's why you have them there. That's why they're watching. They're there to jump in if needed, and they did, and they saved a life.
Because if everything went perfectly, you wouldn't need lifeguards. And if you didn't have lifeguards, then, like somebody said to me, I don't even know who it was now, well, they don't have lifeguards, do they? Why would they have lifeguards? Well, boy, if I ran a hotel that was centered around water, I'd sure want to have lifeguards on duty. Like, holy cow. And I don't know if you've ever been in there, Kevin. I was just in there to look around because I didn't have children of the age with me that would have enjoyed the atmosphere. So but I'd never been in. This was a few years ago. And I had never been in it before. So I just walked in to look around. I thought, this place is amazing. But the hundreds of people that were in there, kids running around and yelling and screaming and having a great time and dripping water and like, holy moly. I can see how for a couple of seconds somebody might get out of sight, you know. But again, to go to Kevin's point, that's why they have it set up the way they do. So awesome that situation ended on a really positive note. Happy anniversary, Kevin. You were signaling me for something.
No, that's fine.
Sorry,
well, whose anniversary? What are we celebrating?
Well, happy anniversary. You have a connection with Port Robinson, do you not?
Yeah, I very much do. My in-laws live in Port Robinson, and a lot of my wife's family live on Port Robinson. That's both east and west, and if people are wondering, it's divided by the canal.
Which to this very day would be a much different municipality or community had the bridge not been knocked out on this date in 1974.
Well, sorry, Lee, but they're yelling at me right now. It was yesterday.
Yesterday's date?
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
Yesterday's date.
I thought it was today.
Hey, there were some leap years in between. Who knows?
All right. Well, thank you for trying to save me, but a foot in mouth.
47 years ago yesterday.
47 years ago yesterday, that the Port Robinson Bridge was taken out of commission for what ended up to be forever. There it is, even with the little house on top that a guy would sit in there and take the bridge up and down all day long, and they never rebuilt it. What a different look that community would have today, Kevin, had that not happened. It would have probably been Oh, I don't know, like a St. Catharines or a Niagara Falls or something.
It probably looked like Lundy's Lane, like Highway 20 in Allenburg. You'd have gas stations. You'd probably wind it or widen it to a 4-lane highway, and as it is, both east and west, rather quaint and a bit of a jewel. You know what, Lee? I'll say right now that they, and I guess they being probably the city of Feulled and also the region, don't do a good enough job of promoting the gem that is the little ferry that goes across where the bridge used to be. It's so nice, and I was just talking
I've never done that.
I was asking my wife this morning whether or not there's a plaque there with some of these pictures, right? With some of these pictures saying, hey, on August 25th, 1974, the bridge came down, and kind of celebrating that this is a historic landmark, a watershed moment in Niagara's history. It really is, or at least for that hamlet.
Oh, no question.
But you got to take that little ferry. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I will.
And then what happened, Lee, for people living in Port Robinson, if you lived on the west side, you got to remember, right, this is the 70s. If you had a package to be picked up at the post office, now you had to drive around.
Right.
As opposed to just go over the bridge.
Right. Wow.
And I guess it used to be Bridge 13, my assumption, because that's the name of the eatery over there, right?
One wonders why it was never replaced. I mean, there's another bridge in the Welland Canal system that has had its share of hard knocks, and I don't know whether it's because it's particularly difficult to navigate or what, but it's the Clarence Street Bridge in Port Colborne. It's been banged into a few times, but nothing to the extent that occurred. I mean, that's a complete replacement, that is. I wish we had somebody that knew the complete story. I know somebody that does. I'll have to try to get him on the show at some point in time. But
I've heard different versions of it over the year, Lee, but the one that seems most recurring is the guy fell asleep. The guy up in the booth.
The guy in the little building?
Yeah, the guy in the little building fell asleep, and as you know, brakes on boats don't work that well.
No, boats don't have brakes. They have reverse, but if you don't get into reverse soon enough. Wow.
And that's the version that I heard. Here, let's see if they say anything on the post here. No, we'll just say that. 13 comments.
Can you imagine? How was your night at work, hon? It's okay. I was a little tired. Oh my gosh. Bridge should have been replaced. That boat crash divided a community and ruined a favored travel route that avoided the tourist traffic. The Dane City Bridge is still missing too. It's a long way around. Yeah.
I think the people in Port Robinson should be happy that the bridge never got replaced.
Well, again, there would be different schools of thought on that. Some people might, like that one commenter, would have liked it to be more vibrant, more open, more significant growth than has happened in the last 47 years. So, and Dane City, that's true. My wife and I were actually, we're every now and then we hop in the car and we take a drive and places we haven't been in a long time. And a couple of weeks ago, we were in Dane City, and right down by the old bridge area there, and I was thinking, that's right, I can't cross there anymore. So yeah, the whole Welland Canal saga is a fascinating, so many different stories, and there's so many different eras. I mean, there's been 3 canals in total over the since the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know, 4 or 5.
Because now we've got the recreation part that's no longer used for ship travel, of course, and then there's holy cow. Anyway. Happy or not anniversary to that incident. Gales Gas Bars Limited fuels this program and has been doing so for quite some time. And we do want to take this moment out to acknowledge our sponsors, Gales in particular, for staying with us through thick and thin. This is episode 34, season 2, and they joined us just around the end of our first season and have stuck around and given us 2 thumbs up all along the way. And for that, we thank Jessica Friesen, the CEO of Gales Gas Bars. Also, Carlo and the gang at Performance Heating and Air. They are endeavoring always to save your family money in that category in which they deal, because they have families in Niagara as well. Scott and the gang at Enwick High Speed Internet. Niagara's only business of its kind He was born and bred here, serving rural as well as urban locations, no signed contracts, just a really, really cool approach for that internet access division, Enwick high-speed internet here. And Verge Insurance Group, by the way, I want to mention to you that if you're scrolling through Niagara 411, Verge Insurance Group has started to put some, or your own Facebook page as a matter of fact, they have put some promotional and advertising style videos, etc., up about their organization. So you might want to give it a click or give it a search on Facebook, and it'll pop out and tell you a lot more about what Niagara's Verge Insurance Group does and what they can do for you. So you can check that out as well. So thank you to everybody that supports us. Of course, Dave McParian here at Fiddler's Poorhouse for allowing us to bake slowly but ever constantly in his lovely window here at Fiddler's Poorhouse at 149 St. Paul in downtown St. Catharines. If you're wondering where we are, we're just a little stone's throw, just a little pebbles throw from the Rankin Bridge, the crossing over to the Meridian Center. Okay, near the west end of St. Paul Street.
I mean, people could see there we are, right across from the British Boutique.
Yes, yeah. We gave him a big highlight in the program last week. Haven't heard a word.
Oh, you didn't see the lineup outside this morning? It's booming. Business is booming over there, Lee.
That's good. That's
Never been so busy.
And of course, the technology with which we drive this program comes from Kevin, Jack, as well as his partner Brandon Scram and their company, WeeStreem. And indeed they do, and they stream better and more efficiently and more cost effectively than anybody else in the country. So check them out if you have anything that you would like the public to be a part of, or in the old days, the pre-COVID days, you would have expected a gathering for, which is kind of hit and miss even now. By all means, WeeStreem should be the first contact on your list to talk to. Weddings, events, awards things, sports gatherings, whatever. And well, Kevin, you can give them a better list of the things you do
that's
than
pretty
I can.
good. But with taking a look at what's going on now, I would encourage all local chambers of commerce, or if you are part of an organization that's thinking of doing an all candidates debate, we're the people to talk to. I mean, you can't get all the people inside the building, but you want everybody to know the issues. Get WeeStream, and we'll make sure that your message gets out there and you get thousands upon thousands of views. Don't let your efforts go wasted.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Kevin, as far as the political debate is concerned, because I just want to reiterate quickly, not going to spend a lot of time on this. In case you missed our little piece of repartee on last week's program, Kevin and I decided how we were going to handle the political spectrum as the election looms for September 20th. And that is, we're not, at least from our perspective, we're not going to be proactive. We're not going to initiate political discussions, but we will receive them. The reason being, the minute we reach out to anyone, be it a campaign manager or somebody that is managing someone's constituency office, or politicians themselves that are candidates for the upcoming election, the minute we do that, we are immediately branded as supporting that party. We're not supporting any party, we're not supporting any politician, we're not supporting any particular platform, but we're not going to refuse you exposure either. So it is up to you to be proactive and click on that link at the bottom of the post and come on, and you voluntarily, proactively talk to us about the upcoming election. We are not going to reach out to you. Now, to confirm, you can just be like we are, simple constituents, regular community residents that have an opinion. You have an opinion on the election, you're welcome as well. You don't have to be a politician. You don't have to be a campaign manager. You don't have to be a federal government employee. You don't have to be anything. You can just be a guy paying taxes like the rest of us. And if you have something to say about the election coming up, the world is your oyster. It's an open ball game right here.
Yep, sounds fair. And again, that link is open to anybody at any time, political or not political. Lee, I know we got What 3 Words coming up. Or sorry, yeah, What 3 Words.
What 3
Such
Words?
a cool app, and it helped with a rescue in the gorge just this past week, as reported on Niagara 411. A couple of other stories that are kind of lighthearted. Do you want to do the corn or the gold and the silver?
Oh, well, let's do them both quickly. The corn we can do in a hurry.
Okay.
Because there is a farmer on Weber Road that was just absolutely hammered by construction and road closures and lack of traffic of COVID. It was sort of like a perfect storm of no customers. And this post went up from someone that said, hey, we got some yummy corn today. Crystal James Jack, thank you for, I don't know if it's any relation to you.
No, never met Crystal.
Nobody know? Okay. We went in and got some yummy corn today. The farmer said he had to throw out his whole first crop because the city detoured Weber Road to fix the street, and he barely got any business at all. He gave me a great deal, even though I tried to give him more money. He said, no, it's okay, just please come back and let people know where I am. So, that's what this person did. And Ms. Jack, thank you for doing that. So, sweet corn, there it is right there on Weber Road. Take a drive down there and pick yourself up some fabulous corn. And there's one of the things, Kevin, that people just, I don't know that we lose sight of it, it's just that it gets lost in the maelstrom of information that we have been dealing with over the past year and a half or 2 years or so. Is there's a small business, there's a guy, growing corn, trying to make a buck, and suffering over there, throws out his whole crop. Nobody knows. We didn't know anything about it. He's suffering over there in pretty much in silence, because, who's going to listen? Until Nick at Niagara 411 and one of his contributors says, hey, let's shine a light on this hardworking man.
And look at that there, Lee, 1.6 thousand shares.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so obviously we all feel for somebody that is struggling. The other story is something that is out of Hollywood. Niagara Regional Police Service has put this up. Nick put it up on Niagara 411. There's a house in St. Catharines, okay, in which there were gold and silver bars. 9 gold bars, 5 silver bars, estimated at $300,000. They are officially stamped with their serial numbers, as all of these things must be. And somebody broke into the house and stole these bars. 9 gold? 7, was it 7 silver? 5 silver. Yeah. Now, they had to know they were there. You don't just break into somebody's house and say, hey, look, Marty, we got some gold bars here. Doesn't work out that way. Somebody had to know those things were there.
300,000. So this is the area of town, Lee.
Yeah.
So it says a residence, but this is
a residence, yeah.
Hiscott, it's right by the QEW and Ontario Street in St. Catharines.
Okay. Which is kind of light industrial too, like there's hotels and gas stations around there.
Yeah, and Maywood is basically at that point the self-service road.
Right.
And Maywood and Hiscott is right there. I think that's like JBM Office Solutions, New Wave Pools. Yeah, there's JBM right there.
Okay, but there's so many questions. So many questions.
So there's not a lot of residences around there, but it does say residence, does it not?
Yeah, but if you drive back in and around behind those places, there's all kinds of places.
Yeah, the complainant had kept gold and silver bars in their home.
Who does that? Who keeps gold and silver bars in their house?
Not me, Lee.
I think this is, I used to, but no. All kidding aside, there's going to be more, obviously, to this story. But there's obviously the gold on top, silver at the bottom, and those are how they are stamped for authenticity purposes by the mint that turns these things out. And a lot of people more people than you would think actually do transfer their cash into gold because, as Charlie Chaplin used to do. Now I'm dating myself that I even know the name Charlie Chaplin, but back in the 20s, he used to convert all of his cash from his movies and all of his Hollywood work, etc., into gold bars. He always used to.
Yeah, back in the 1920s, 1930s, I could see that, but
yeah, but now,
I mean, it could be a good investment. You know, I don't know enough about the gold
how do you
bullion
get
market.
rid of them? They're worth $300,000. You don't go shopping at IGA and flop a gold bar down on the counter.
Do you have change?
Yeah. I mean, how do you do that? You got to have somebody that has a market. Even if you melt it down, then what do you do with it? I don't know.
I don't even know what the market is like for gold bullion, and I just like to say bullion.
Bullion?
Yeah, bullion.
Bullion.
I'm trying to pull up the story here, Lee, but
right.
I'll let you get to it because our guest is waiting in the green room. So I'm trying to get to the story of significance here in Niagara.
Okay. This story, I'm sure I am on the low end of awareness for how this thing works. But Nick put this up this past week, and it got my attention and Kevin's. And I posted about this potential life-saving app before, but I thought a refresher was in order. Well, it certainly is, because I'd never heard of it. Emergency services successfully utilized it today to locate a victim requiring urgent medical attention in the Niagara Gorge. The application is free, and all Niagara 911 dispatch centers have the ability to use it. It is called What 3 Words? The CMO of that company is Giles Reese Jones, and he joins us now. Is it okay if I call you Giles?
Lee, that'd be great. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thank you for being here. Where are you right now?
I am in Wimbledon in southwest London, and the 3-word address is Feulled Face. So you can see the front door of my property at Feulled Face.
Okay. So help me out here. First of all, what does CMO mean in the UK?
I'm the marketing guy.
You're a which?
A marketing guy.
Marketing. Chief Marketing Officer. All right, cool. So you're not? Are you also the owner of the company?
No, I've been with this company for 7 years now. So I joined the company when there was 5 of us in a shared office, and now we're 150 people in various different parts of the world, with our system being used in places like Canada, Australia, Germany, all over the world, really.
Okay, Giles, I am a self-proclaimed idiot when it comes to this topic. So you're going to have to talk to me like you're talking to a 3-year-old, or maybe 3-year-olds even get it more than I do these days. I don't know.
You'd be surprised, yeah.
Okay, so what 3 words? Start from ground zero here.
Fine. We're just a very simple way to talk about any location. So what we've done is we've divided the world up into small squares. 3 meter by 3 meter squares, 10 foot by 10 foot squares, about the size of a car parking spot. Now, we've divided the world into 57 trillion of those, and then we've given each one of those squares a unique 3-word identifier. So table, chair, lamp, for example, is a what 3 words address for a 3 meter square somewhere in the world. Basically, we take GPS coordinates, which latitude, longitude, 18 digits, super accurate, but actually quite difficult to use and quite difficult to remember. They're difficult to write down and tell someone. We convert GPS coordinates to words, which are much easier to understand.
Okay. The purpose of this being?
A number of reasons. Street addresses aren't particularly accurate often. You know, a pin will drop in the middle of a building, which, if you're going to meet someone, can be a little bit frustrating. If you're a delivery company, then that can be quite expensive if you're going to the wrong place hundreds of times a day. And if you're a first responder, you work for the emergency services, and you cannot find a location, that can actually be much more significant. And that's where there are street addresses. Now, actually, if you go into rural parts of the UK, rural parts of Canada, street addresses just don't cover those places. And so actually we are incredibly useful in those sorts of circumstances.
So, Giles, this is probably a bit of an embarrassing question for a marketing guy, and I don't mean to mean it that way, but why have so many of us, after these years, not heard of you?
I do blame the marketing guy. We've made some choices about where we spend our time and effort. In the UK, for example, we're fairly well known. We're used by 85% of emergency services in the UK. You can order a pizza from Domino's and get it delivered to a 3-word address.
Wow.
You can get beer delivered to a park, to a 3-word address. You can get a taxi to pick you up and drop you off at a 3-word address. So in the UK, there's an interesting ecosystem evolving around what 3 words, and we're starting to see that replicated. So in Canada, we've now got 41 emergency services in Canada accepting a what 3 words address if you need to report an emergency.
That's really interesting, and I foresee the day that it'll be as commonplace here as well as it is there, because our post on Facebook showed that our EMS personnel, our emergency service people, as well as our police dispatchers and people like that are very familiar with it and use it. It just seems to me that the general public, like people like myself, aren't. It's not as grassroots aware as perhaps it might be in the near future. Are there any are there any plans afoot to really roll the public awareness part of this out?
Yes, and we do that in a number of ways. I think that a lot of the forces around the world and in Canada are encouraging people to get the app, just in case. I mean, it's a great app. It's a free app that you can get from the app stores and put on your phone, and anybody can use it. And people are initially getting it for emergency, just in case. And then actually what they're discovering is it's actually a really good way to meet friends, or remember where you parked your car, or mark the start of a trail,
right.
Or an amazing view, or a photography spot. So actually people are suddenly going, I got it just for an emergency point of view, but actually I'm finding much more use for it. And then the other thing that we're seeing is, and this is actually how we make money as a business, we actually sell our code to other businesses. So we've sold our code to delivery services in the UK, to car companies. I don't know about you, but if you get in your car and you try and put an address into your car, in your sat-nav, it can be really quite difficult, because you've got to find the zip code and the postcode, or if you're trying to do it by voice. I get in my car and I say, take me to Church Road, and it says there are 14 church roads, which one do you want to go to in London? So it becomes frustrating. So Mercedes have built us into their cars. You can get into a latest Mercedes and you say table, chair, lamp, and it knows exactly where you want to go. Mitsubishi have just launched in Canada, and they're telling everybody about the fact that now they've got what 3 words in their cars, because these are 4x4s that can go absolutely everywhere, and now they really can, because they've got an address for anywhere in Canada.
Whose original idea was this?
So Chris, our CEO and friend of mine, he used to organize music events around the world. He was a musician, and whether he was trying to find gate 37B at an enormous venue in the middle of a city, or he was trying to find a chateau in rural France, he was constantly frustrated about the lack of good addressing. And so he started using GPS coordinates and thinking that would solve the problem. But it became apparent fairly quickly that bass players and drummers are not predisposed to remembering 18 digits, and they would write them down and they would mix up a 1 and a 7, and they would end up an hour east of Rome instead of an hour north of Rome, but they wouldn't understand it. Right. So that's when he sat down with a friend of his who was a mathematician, and they came up with what 3 words.
Okay, now there was one aspect that I was reading that I had a hard time wrapping my head around as well, and that was the fact that internet access or satellite access
Data.
or whatever
Yeah.
was not required at some point, and yet you have to have. What am I misunderstanding here?
So on your phone, there are generally three systems.
Okay.
You have a cellular system, cellular chip. You have a data chip for Wi-Fi, and then you have a GPS chip. Now, we only require GPS for the system to work. So you can be out of cellular range and you can be out of data range, but you'll still get a 3-word address and you'll still be able to navigate to a what 3 words address. Now, obviously, if you're in an emergency situation, you still need to, text someone or phone someone. But actually, for our system to work, it works entirely offline, which is brilliant if you're trying to navigate somewhere.
That to me, and thank you for explaining it so clearly, so someone like me could understand it. But that to me is probably the singular biggest benefit to this. Like if somebody's on the backside of a mountain somewhere, stranded because they got a broken leg and they were skiing or whatever the heck it is, chances are they're not going to be able to call somebody on their phone, right?
Yes. Well, you require you need some sort of signal to get a message out. So
Right.
you still require if you're going to make a phone call, you need cell reception.
Yes.
But our system doesn't. To get a 3-word address, you don't need it. So we have had incidents in Canada. A guy was on a snowmobile earlier in the year, crashed on the lake. Didn't know where he was. Couldn't just he's like, I'm in the middle of this frozen lake and I've crashed. I've had a real problem. He managed to have a cell signal and he could get a message out saying, I'm at this 3-word address, and they went in and got him. But yes, we're being used for lone workers, people who are out doing fairly dangerous jobs in the middle of nowhere, and they're logging their 3-word addresses and sharing them with their companies to make sure people know where they are.
Fascinating. I know with boaters, there's a particular distress number that they call or put out on a frequency, etc. Totally different kind of thing. But do you foresee the day, or is there already is the day already here, whereby someone is constantly monitoring what 3 words? Like, is there some way for an overseer to monitor the world at large that way?
So that wouldn't be us, but there are apps, personal safety apps that people have built that use what 3 words.
Okay.
So you can log with your family, and you can have a little family unit, and you can see where everybody is. We've been built into motorbiking apps. So if you crash on your motorbike, it will automatically send the 3-word address to your emergency contact, so they know where you are.
Okay.
So those sorts of things are starting to exist, and they do build what 3 words into the system.
That is so cool. Giles Reese-Jones, thank you very much for joining us. Chief Marketing Officer of What 3 Words. And great, you did explain it to me, the 3-year-old, so that was awesome. Thank you so much.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Lee.
Take care. Bye. Yeah, 3. All right. Kevin, that's odd. That is so. We did this a little bit before the show. Kevin did a little bit of a googly thing, and apparently, my house. Now, don't bomb it or anything. Apparently, my house is cleans adding teeth. That's my house.
So here, this is a Table Rock. Mercenary, inundated, baggage.
All right.
And I can only assume that the 3 words never change, right? I mean, they've gridded the whole world.
They're going to be there forever.
Yeah, so it'll be there forever. It'll be the same 3 words.
And we are here at Fiddler's Poorhouse, which is 149 St. Paul. We did this a little bit earlier, too.
Yeah, there we go.
So give escape rollers charmingly.
Isn't that what you did on Saturday night?
Absolutely. I was charmingly on rollers and made my escape. So if you want to come see us, and I mean really come right to this point, Just do the What Three Words app and...
I could see where, when it gets integrated, that this is something that would use, but that's the big hurdle is integration. But if they've been successful in the UK and they're starting to make inroads into Canada, you have to think it's going to take off. I'll just throw up here, Lee, this is the original post that Nick was talking about a male in distress in the Niagara Gorge, and they used the What Three Words app so that the first responders could target exactly where they were. And you can imagine in a gorge, I mean, if you don't know, what are you using for descriptors? I'm by the rocks. I don't know. I came down the stairs and took a left, and maybe I'm 400 meters downstream.
I just think it's so cool that the people that were down there had the app and had this thing. I wonder where they were from. Because I know nobody I've talked to in my circle has any idea what the heck this thing is.
No, I've only seen it on Niagara 411. But obviously people are using it, and hey, if the NRPS and Niagara Parks Police and all these people are wise to What Three Words, and the rest of us should be as well.
Yeah, we would encourage you, and I'm going to put it on my phone for sure when I get after the show, because now that we know that our authorities all have this stuff, why wouldn't we use it in the case of emergencies?
I might start to use it. Do you know if like the Amazon people and what have you? For example, my house, they always question whether or not my house is my house when they're delivering something. A lot of times go to my neighbors and what have you.
Yeah, you live in one of those $1 million mansions out west.
Right, yeah. So when you got acreage, Lee, if you gave them the exact 3 words, there would be no doubt in their mind that they're delivering to the right place.
No.
I mean, the beginning of my driveway would have a different 3 words than the front step of my house.
Well, maybe that was the problem with the guy with the gold bars. I don't know. Maybe when he got him, he gave him the 3 words and somebody figured out what they were. Can you imagine if somebody hacked that organization and found out everybody's 3 words?
Well, you could just go on the map and find everybody's 3 words.
But I mean, you could go to like somebody's, like wealthy people's houses or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Like you could go
to
go to Jeff Bezos' place.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Amazon money.
Yeah, but the guards would shoot you.
Yeah.
Hey, Lee, I know we got Laydee Lyrix.
Laydee Lyrix,
coming on in about 15 minutes. The show is always open to everybody. So while we were talking about What Three Words, somebody wanted to hop on the program.
Excellent. Who have we got joining us today? Sir.
Is that me?
That's you.
Me? I believe so.
Yeah.
My name is Robert Alfieri.
Okay, Robert.
And I am setting up a show I have a show coming up on this Saturday at the Old Ports Lock 1 stage. And I was told to join your show. I was told it was a good spot to come talk about it.
All right. Well, here you are. I see you've got to sign the bar in the back of you. Where are you right now?
I'm at my house.
That's your house?
Yeah.
Okay,
we just have a...
We'll be over in about an hour. So tell us about the show.
For sure. Well, it's a community building event. It's going to be completely free admission, so you can just come in and enjoy the show. It's at the Old Ports Lock 1 stage, which is right on the corner of Lakeport and Lock Street, I believe, in Port Dalhousie. I believe those are the two streets, right beside the new Rankin construction building that they're building there. And it's this Saturday, and it's from 6:30 until 9 o'clock. And I'm performing alongside Ryan Lunn and Evan Rotella. So Evan is younger; he's more my age, and Ryan Lunn is a little bit older, but that means he also comes with a larger following in the area. And they're both contributing to the show, putting on their own performance. And the 3 of us are going to be doing a couple hours of music. What
kind of music stylings can we expect to hear, Robert?
For sure. Well, I'm pretty pop music, but I'm going to be playing a few older songs. I've had a lot of like old classic rock influence from my parents growing up, so I have a few older songs that I'm going to be playing because I kind of know that the demographic's going to be 50-50. But I play a lot of pop music. I'll be playing a lot of originals, and you can expect at least some good originals from Evan and Ryan as well, because they're both write original material. And besides that, I'm not exactly sure what the rest of their sets are going to be, but I would assume it's pretty acoustic, good mix between new songs, old songs, easy listening, and a good night of music.
Well, that's great. And the fact that this is a free concert is, I suppose, a statement of our times, because it's been pretty darn tough over the last 1.5 to 2 years to find any sort of live music venues anywhere across the country. And one of the things that I've seen people comment on more than anything else is if they get a chance to see some live music, how much it seems they almost appreciate it more than they ever did, because they didn't realize how much they enjoyed seeing live music.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. I think it's just we get used to the things that we have, and we take them for granted a lot of the time. And going to concerts all the time and seeing live music on patios, and we become accustomed to it, right?
Yeah.
And then when you don't have that for over a year, and then you get back to it, and it's amazing performing live again. It's so much fun getting back out there and performing live, and hearing that people are responding to it in that way is really awesome to hear as well.
So Robert, if we want to come and see you, is there room for us to come and bring a lawn chair and sit down? Or I know the area that it's in, but I can't picture open space. How is the best way to view what you guys are going to be doing?
Yeah, so at the old Ports Lock 1, they've built kind of an amphitheater situation, and there's a stage, and then it goes down, and there's actually steps and
oh yes,
places to sit going up. So the venue holds, because of COVID, and we have to kind of keep in the guidelines.
Yeah.
The venue holds 100 people.
Okay.
For this event is the max we're allowed to get to.
Yeah. Obviously,
it could hold more than that, but it doesn't now. And because there are steps, if you want to come by and enjoy the show, I've just been telling people to bring a blanket or bring a pillow or something to be a little comfier than a concrete slab. But yeah, pretty much that. You could bring long chairs if you want and create even more rows of seating if you want. But yeah, really all you have to bring is a blanket, a couple drinks, or we're gonna have water and pop and stuff. We can't sell any alcohol there, so bring what you want and come and enjoy the show. So
awesome. Robert, thanks for joining us. Hopefully this free concert will lead to you three local musicians actually making some money at it again someday soon.
Sure.
And you were right. This is the place to come and talk about your stuff. So pass that word around. You did a great job. Congratulations on the concert coming up, and break a leg on Saturday. Hope you guys have a great time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, man. Take care.
Yep.
Super.
See you. Bye.
While we're talking about music, of course, the big music news on the international stage was the fact that we lost Charlie Watts at the age of 80 years old, drumming for the Rolling Stones. They called him the man in the pocket, which means he never lost the beat. He set the beat, set the tone, and will be long remembered as a gentleman, a classy man, well dressed, and probably the best dressed of the Stones, I suppose, depending on your preference for fashion. But Charlie Watts being well remembered all around the world by his peers as well as his fans for what he helped bring to us over the years. There was a great story, Kevin, in Keith Richards' autobiography. His autobiography was called Life, and if you ever want to read a really, really cool and interesting and provocative, informative book written by a pop star, a rock star, that's the one to read. Keith Richards is a more eloquent human being than he looks on the surface, but he told this story one night about Charlie Watts in his book. And Charlie lived differently than the rest of the Stones. He was much more of a conservative man. And so there was one night when the Stones were on tour, Mick and Keith were sharing a room, which must have been in their early days, because I don't imagine they needed to share a room financially later in their careers, but nevertheless, they got home at about 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, musicians live on different timetables than most people because they perform late, they stay up late, and they sleep during the day. So Mick and Keith had returned home, or back to the hotel, at about 5 o'clock in the morning. So, and across the hall, Charlie Watts was staying in another room. So Mick dialed Charlie's phone. The phone was picked up. He didn't say anything, but Mick says, "Where's my drummer?" And there was nothing. So he hung up, and that was it. About 10 minutes later, perfectly dressed, perfectly coiffed in a three-piece suit, etc., etc., there was a knock on the door. Charlie Watts is there. Mick opens the door, walks past Keith, didn't even say hello, walked over to Mick Jagger and said, "I am not your drummer. You are my singer." And grabbed him by the lapel of his jacket and punched him in the nose.
I saw that in memes this week, and I wasn't sure if it was a true story.
It is a true story. Yeah.
Way to go, Charlie.
Yeah. It was in. It was.
Not
in,
many people can stand up to Mick.
It was in. It was in Keith's book. So, cool story. Rest in peace, Charlie Watts. So, other things, Kevin.
Yeah, where do you want to go? We got Laydee Lyrix coming up in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah,
Very
we look forward to
lady.
that.
Yeah, St. Catharines-based hip-hop artist of Aboriginal descent. So a lot going on there.
Yeah, she has a lot going on, a lot to talk about. Looking forward to talking with her and meeting her in a few minutes. I do want to give some kudos, just some acknowledgement to anyone that has an outdoor job during the past probably 10 days or so, and then before that there was another heat wave, but at least for the last 8 or 9, I believe, we have been under heat warnings here in Niagara. It's damn hot. It's great for summer vacations, it's great for pool people, it's great for beaches and all that stuff, and people say, "Man, did we ever have a nice hot summer in 2021?" But we have roofers, we have landscapers, we have siding people, we have people. I've noticed in our neighborhood there are a lot of houses that are aging to the point where they need all new eaves trough and soffit and fascia and all of these things that involve people working out of doors. And to all of you, I send my I was going to say sympathies, but empathies, I guess, is a better word, because man, kudos for you for doing that job. You probably lose about 30 pounds over the course of the summer in jobs like that. Roofers in particular, tough. Not only it's a tough job even when the conditions are comfortable, and a lot of these jobs involve manual labor that are difficult under the best of circumstances, and under these conditions, wow. So. Kudos to any of you that work outside for a living. And our firefighters. That's why these guys, I think, are always the ones in calendars. Because there's absolutely no way you could be a pudgy firefighter. I mean, it's impossible. Not only do you have this weather, you're fighting fires, which adds more heat, obviously, to the circumstances, and you're dressed in that gear that probably weighs about 300 pounds and holds heat in, and oh my God. So to our frontline workers and people like EMS people and the cops that deal with, now I know you can ride in air-conditioned cruisers during the day, but spend time out in traffic and at car accidents and all this stuff in full uniform gear and everything. I feel for you, and I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that we are aware that you're there. So I just wanted to touch on that, Kevin. nobody gets a chance to sit in the shade. I might say sit in the shade in shorts and a golf shirt like you do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's some of us that actually labor out here in the hot sun.
I know. See how I arranged this? Yeah, it's stifling out there today.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Man.
In where you are, though,
And you
boy,
see-
you look very comfortable.
Yeah, it's quite nice in here. 28 tomorrow, 28 Saturday, 29 Sunday, and me and the fam jam. We are going down to Windmill Point to camp. It's our annual Dads and Kids camping weekend. I would recommend it for all families. Gives everybody a nice respite. My wife gets the weekend off, and I say fam jam, no wives allowed.
I understand, though, that the wives are a little upset about this because it's the kids' favorite weekend.
Their noses rather are out of joint.
Yeah. Sorry,
I would
moms.
agree with that. And certainly, I put it up there, and I think it's of note. Nick did a lot of work this week to find all the locations of all the
Indeed.
cooling centers.
Good segue there. Yeah, that was a really cool post, pardon the pun, Nick, with all the access places in our municipalities for cooling centers. The other segment of our populace that I really feel for are those that do have to go through something like this without access to air conditioning where they live. We never had air conditioning when I was a kid. I slept upstairs. Man, it was hot. But I don't know that it was ever as hot for as long as it is now. Maybe I have just a bad memory. I do know that temperature records were set for our area something like back in the 1940s sometime. So hot weather is not new to Niagara by any stretch of the imagination. And there are people that live alone. If you know somebody that does, or know of somebody that does live alone, and maybe you haven't seen them in a while or whatever, go knock on their door, see how they're doing.
I know. I could only imagine your hardship, Lee. It must be hard to hold the golf club when your hands are sweating that much.
Well, it is, but I take a towel.
Okay, well, that's nice. That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I just reaching out to the needy, and less fortunately.
Oh, are we still on? Okay. Kevin, we have is Laydee with us yet?
Yeah, she is in here. I'll throw this up because this appeared on Niagara 411, and you can take it from there.
There it is. Kim Ferguson, aka Laydee Lyrix, is an independent rapper-singer from Niagara, and she's much more than that, but she's currently involved in kind of an interesting competition, which I want to find out about. But without any more time wasted, let's chat with Laydee Lyrix. Hi, how are you?
Hi, everyone. How are you?
I'm good. We've got you. Where are you right now?
I'm at home currently in my living room.
Okay. Where?
This is my daughter, Hannah.
Oh, hi, Hannah. How you doing? Hi. So where's home?
So, yeah, we're
Where-
just working out of, like, COVID functions like everyone else. So
Yeah.
we're at home production today.
And where is home? I don't need the address, but give me the city anyway.
Niagara Falls.
Oh, you are in Niagara
I'm from
Falls.
the Falls.
Yeah. Okay, so just give me a quick, if you will, sort of elevator style resume. Who's Laydee Lyrix?
All right, so we'll go back to the beginning. I thought about this morning as I was waking up. I started out with this love of poetry and then turned into hip hop, and I would start to write these little songs, and I eventually came across battle rapping. So 2008, I was like wanting to learn how to rap. I thought, you know, being a battle rapper would be a good start, which was interesting to say the least. So a lot of my beginning exposure was from that, and I was one of the first females involved in Canada in that. So it was cool thing, you know, maybe it wasn't the best, but I was definitely the first, so that's a good feeling. And so then I went on to go on tour, and Robbie G, who does a lot of shows locally and around Canada, I got linked up with him and opened up for artists like Mocha Only and Reef the Lost Cause. He was probably one of my favorite because when he was doing his show, he was down to earth. He took off his shoes and was doing his set in bare feet. So it's not often you meet people like that in the industry because a lot of it's ego. Fast forward to 2019 because I was off for when I had this lovely girl for a few years, and I also had a vocal cord injury of nodes. miraculously had healed itself. And yeah, so 2019, I went to the finals and competed in Miami against 400 other artists for 50 grand, which was super cool, super awesome. I got to meet with the record labels like Capitol Records and Warner. So I'm looking forward to hopefully winning this competition and then using that money to go back and have another chance at that 50 grand prize and those meetings again, and go back to the A&Rs and say, hey, I was listening, you know, to what you guys were saying. My ego took a really big beating over it, so I kind of went into this little writer's block phase in the beginning of COVID. But recently I've been getting some inspiration, so it feels good to get back into the swing of things. And I think this is an amazing opportunity to put Niagara on the map. You know, we have so much talent around here that goes unrecognized.
That's awesome. Now, again, the competition is called the Opening Act, and you're currently ranked in second place, correct?
I'm neck and neck in second place with another artist that's from San Diego. So that in itself is, you know, such an accomplishment. I held first place down for a good 3 days, but they had 2-for-1 voting. So if someone went and bought, you know, $200 in votes, they could get 400 votes that night. So right now I'm playing some catch up, but I'm hoping that with this live event, with some exposure, you know, everybody, my name's Kim Ferguson, aka Laydee Lyrix, and my link is everywhere on Facebook. It's all over my Instagram. Please go and vote. Get us back into that first place spot, because it's a good feeling to be first. I've never actually won anything first, so this would be a super cool thing.
Well, I can tell you're pretty excited about it, and so you should be. Kevin has you can't see it on your screen, but Kevin has the post up that shows the website address, which is theopenact.com, and it's got your sort of little short bio, and the opportunity to vote, and there's the constant ticker going as votes come in. Now, do you have to perform again, or is your performing part of this competition done?
That hasn't even started yet. So right now we're in the opening preliminary phases of it. This is going to be at 8 p.m. There's picking the top 15. Oh. So I actually found out about this competition on Instagram, as how I find a lot of my competitions. The same with Coast to Coast. And I was like, just put this video in. So I said, what the hell? My Shadow was a great video. I put it in and won third place internationally. And that was after it being overlooked time and time again by Niagara Music Awards. By, you know, now I'm starting to get a little bit of local exposure and support. But that's what's caused me to outsource and said, you know, okay, I'm going to go do these competitions out in outside of Ontario, outside of Canada, because that's how you kind of get yourself recognized and people take you a bit seriously, you know?
Right.
But please go vote, because 8 p.m. today, they're picking the top 15, and then that is the next round. And I believe at this point it's voting, but there's going to be some practical singing part to it. So I'm excited to get to that, you know, and to be doing that. It's a really big rush when you go up there. I swear I feel like I forget everything I'm going to say before I say it, and then I go into my moment, and then before I know it, I'm done.
That's great.
And often after times, you know, all of a sudden get sick to my stomach, but that's how I know I did a good set, because, you know, otherwise your passion's not there. So.
Well, we are excited for you. Your daughter has sprouted some ears while we were talking. She has new ears. She looks like her mom too.
Oh yeah, we're definitely twin set. My mom's same. Everyone looks exactly like. Yeah. But it's probably the native gene in the family. It's a strong gene. I give a lot of my personal success through COVID to the Homeward Bound program, actually, because I joined up with them last August, and you know, I was doing pretty good on my own and stuff, but I didn't have the proper guidance because with COVID, like, everyone's got to take like that extra special care of like their mental and as well as the physical, because that's what keeps us healthy, right? and I think that it's allowed me to go from that point of like just running on the spot to now I can kind of start to go forward. So I'm excited to see what this year has in store for me with college, going to school for songwriting and music in Toronto, and hopefully going to LA to open up for the opening act. And I'd like to win that $10,000 too.
That would be awesome.
Between me and you.
Do I call you Kim or do I call you Laydee? What do you want me to call you?
If you're gonna call me a one word, say Lyrix, because that's what everyone.
Lyrics?
That's what everyone,
okay.
Yeah, I end up going by Lyrix.
I'll call you Lyrix.
It's not because of a pronoun thing. Like I do go by woman, identify as woman.
That's good to know. Lyrix, Lyrics. All right. So you are a very active member of Niagara's Indigenous community, as well.
I am. I'm actually going up there tonight for my fire teaching. So.
Okay. Tell us quickly about your connection there.
Like I just kind of mentioned briefly, it's, the Homeward Bound was really what got me connected. But previously, I did. It was time to get me out of the house once a week when I just had Hannah, so I'd go do walks with the NRNC to get volleyball. And then I took it a step further because I had heard that they had a program for single moms, so they would help them go to school and better their lives. And as a person that was running on the spot, I needed some barriers removed for me, and they were able to do that for me. So after 20 years, I quit smoking. I quit drinking 11 months ago. And not that it was like a huge part of my life, but it was enough that it was keeping me in the same spot. So I think that there's something to be said about culture and the ceremonies that we do. And I love learning that because I never knew anything about the medicines before. So, and the breathing. Which I need to do because I am excited, but it's been a big journey, and I'm excited to, have this next level of self. And I think that's important for everyone to realize that every time you feel like it's getting hard, I want to give up, you better just get ready for the next level because you're going up there, something's coming your way. And you're either going to accept it or you're not. But I accepted it with open arms and then so I'm just looking forward to this year and the years to come.
Well, your excitement is infectious. We can tell that you're so excited, and it's exciting to see you excited. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you for sharing your lovely daughter with us as well. She's had 4 hairdos, I think, in the last 10 minutes.
I think we have a future star on our hands here, so it's going to run in the family. Yeah, she's been saying, when can I have a YouTube channel? And I said, soon. She's at that age where we have to guide our kids online because there's just too much out there and it's too accessible. I
know. And I'm sorry, what is her name again?
Hannah.
Hannah, of course. I know you told us, I have a short memory. Hannah, thank you for joining us today.
All right, everybody, make sure you go on and vote. And I also have an event shared for the countdown to 8 o'clock, starting on from 7:30.
All right.
You can find me on Instagram and Spotify and iTunes. Everything is Laydee Lyrix. So it's LAYDEE. Lyrix.
All right. All right.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. And by the way, just so that you know, every week on this show, we're played off the stage by a musical act that is indigenous to Niagara. And so we wanted to talk to you as our last guest on the program today because we're going to go out with your song Used To. All right?
Awesome. That's actually shot by an indigenous company too here, and a personal good friend and supporter since those beginning rap battling days, Mike Farkas, G3.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you guys.
Recorded, produced, etc. by G3, Laydee Lyrix, and Hannah. Thank you for joining us. Good luck in the competition. We're behind you 100%. We'll be tracking one. And check in with us anytime we're on, okay? Anytime, just click in.
Absolutely. If we get in that top 15, I'd like to come back and check in and update. This could be an ongoing show or story for us all.
You are welcome. You are welcome anytime. Have a great day and a nice weekend. Okay.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Cheers.
All right. Bye. Bye, Hannah. All right. That pretty much will wrap us up for season 2, episode 34 of Niagara 411 Live, which is fueled by Gale's Gas Bars. Wow. We have a whole whack of noises here when you're doing live stuff. Powered by WeeStream, supported by Performance Heating and Air, High Speed Internet, and WIC in Niagara, and Verge Insurance Group. I am Sterry. We are going to go to Laydee Lyrix and Used To. Thank you for joining us. This has been quite a show. Bye.
Dreams of peace while my heart bleeding private later. See my smiling face, they turn to haters. She got handed it, they don't see me work all daycare. Late nights, early mornings, war spirit, old woken, same fights, new heights. Got me in tight, loving the unspoken. Too many times lies, I trusted too easily. Everything but pleasing me, my walls often got me riding solo. Check me wildin' out in Miami, saying YOLO. Must have been a change, or maybe I'm insane. Used to attract them convicts and drug dealers. Now I'm being hit up by a business leader. Got a silver fox, almost twice my senior. Why he be made so well at that age? Can't call it a phase. My peers sucked and they be dicks these days and always. Fuck you suckers, pay. Lyrics giving no fucks to them hating sluts. Didn't wanna wander in, should've kept your dog tied up. Used to be so nice, now I've had enough. And now I'm here to rip it up. I want it all, that life, the fame, the fab. On the next flight out to see my ass. Oh yeah.
Roll the dice.
Thought of you in days, thought of you today. Not winning, feel the same, and that's okay. Lyrics gonna be the one someday. One that got away, busy on these streets. Break my heart today. That's when I write the best songs anyway. Life gonna hit me with the right, I'ma get up and fight. This my life, born to write. And mama did, there ain't no pussy, it's my time. Wish I brought a better pad than a pen, but I'ma swipe the angriest you ever heard in your life. Break me on my bubble, live and breathe the trouble, feeling sorry. That's life, people struggle. Lyrics not giving no fucks to them hating sluts. Didn't wanna wonder and should've kept your dog tied up. Used to be so nice, now I've had enough. I'm here to rip it up, I want it all. That life, the fame, the fab. On the next flight out to see my ass. Oh yeah. Ooh.
See no roll the dice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Lyric, yeah. What? 905 up in Miami. We got Adrian on the beats. Engineer. Niagara Falls. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
See no good, hear no evil.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
See no roll the dice.